Of course I think we can win, and I'm fighting every single day to win.
We've now put forward a plan that... Is that bird worrying you?
Yeah. They're afraid of us. They can see that our movement is growing.
Well, you're not going to have a sense in the parliament.
Let there be 1,000 lessons learned as far as I'm concerned.
This is the 4ZZZ Break the Election podcast for the Queensland state election in 2024. Hello and welcome to the 4ZZZ Breaks the Election podcast, just 8 days from the 2024 Queensland state election. My name is Alexis Pink, I'm the news coordinator at 4ZZZ, and joining me today are...
Maia,
Alysha,
Anthony,
who are from our 4ZZZ newsroom. Hello everyone.
Hello.
Feeling good?
Yes.
Excellent.
definitely.
All right, let's get into some stories. Alysha, how about you lead today?
David Crisafulli attended a media conference in Townsville yesterday where he shared his idea to make it illegal to lie in political advertising. The opposition leader expressed his disdain for the large amount of scare campaigns and negative advertising used in the lead up to the election. While he did not speak specifically about any campaigns, he implied his belief that the Labor Party had been spreading false information.
So, what do you think he means by spreading false information? Is there a specific campaign that sort of stands out in that particular area?
I feel like he's probably trying to just push the blame more onto Labor and try and get the spotlight on them.
So I'm going to suggest a couple. Let's start with abortion changes.
Yeah.
And public sector support. The number of public sector employees we've got. That'd be highest on the agenda.
Okay.
All right, so why do you think David Crisafulli would want to see these laws change? Is he very keen not to have these campaigns on his back?
In terms of the abortion rights, he hasn't shared his opinion at all when being asked very direct questions. He doesn't share his opinion. He just states that nothing's going to change. And I feel like it's important to know what their values are and what his values are. And just open honesty is really important for anyone new to voting, as we are.
Labor does have a right to point that out.
Yeah, certainly.
You would say that.
Yeah, it's unfair that he isn't sharing his opinion. He's refusing to comment on the questions.
But there is something to be said about advertising in the election being maybe a little bit misleading.
It definitely feels exaggerated, the ads that we see.
Yeah, but it is on both sides, right?
Oh, certainly,
Yes.
certainly.
So
On both sides, very exaggerated.
it is a bit of a weird thing, but admittedly, these laws do work. I mean, they may not stop politicians from lying, but it does at least force them to back their claims with facts.
Yeah.
South Australia has these sorts of laws. They've had them for quite a long time. They work quite well. It's hard to imagine how this could be taken other than as a good thing. So maybe something good to come out of the LNP for this election?
Yeah.
Guess we'll find out.
All right, on to story 2. Anthony, tell me all about it.
Former Labour Long Service member Robert Schwarten has predicted that Labour will lose the seats of Rockhampton and Keppel in the state election. So despite his support for the Labour Party, he told listeners at a Bush Summit panel that we are in more strife than a wallaby at a dingo's picnic. And he attributes those to sentiments promoted by other parties that regional areas are neglected by Labour, and that Labour has done nothing in 50 years representing Rockhampton.
So that is the big deal there, that Rockhampton and Keppel and places like that have been represented by Labour for long periods of time. So why are people in these regional towns turning on Labour? Are there sort of big issues that stand out?
Definitely the youth crime not being such a targeted topic from the Labor Party would definitely be.
Yeah, certainly Labour would consider their approach to be completely sound, but the LNP has been arguing that they're not tough enough on youth criminals in general, and that adult crime, adult time thing, very catchy, very immediate, but hard to imagine as a policy.
Yeah, Alysha and I were talking about that, how it's very direct, very strong in what they're saying, but we haven't really heard much to back it up. And
It's how that exactly would work as well.
Can't really figure out what the legislation might look like in that particular case. I mean, you could just say that there are no restrictions on holding children in prison forever, or for as long as an adult thing, but it's got to be more than that, surely. I guess we'll see if they get a little bit closer to government.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
There are a couple of other issues as well. Certainly regional infrastructure has come up quite a lot. The Bruce Highway especially, and Rockhampton is one of the big losers when it comes to the Bruce Highway.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah, like a big industrial hub, but not great access to that road.
No.
There's always lots of potholes and always lots of roadworks done on the Bruce Highway, and it just doesn't seem to end.
Yeah.
I was driving up there recently. There was a road sign that was so faded I couldn't read it. Like, that's not good, is it?
No, definitely not.
No.
Yeah, those are the two issues that sort of dominating.
Yeah.
Let's move on to our third story.
Advocates are warning Queenslanders of the implications that they will face if their politicians decide to delay the rollout of plans under the National Building Code. It's estimated the cost of implementing the standards is between $2,900 and $4,400, of which the Miles government has given a pushback on. This has become a point of contention as disabled voters have found that voting booths are inaccessible in some areas. People with Disability Australia Deputy CEO Megan Spindler-Smith said that although accessibility has improved, we still need to recognise that the ability to vote is an equitable human right. Furthermore, Jessica Walker from the Summer Foundation is urging Labor and the LNP not to buckle down with construction industry pressure.
So that is the big story there.
Yes.
Like, we're talking about such a small amount of money per bill, like $2,900 to $4,400. In the scope of a house build, even a quite cheap house build, is maybe 1 to 2% of the bill cost. Is this something that we would like to see in more new builds?
I think so. Any kind of improvement or help that the government can give would definitely take.
Especially how much it can cost to build these things in once a building has been complete. Like, we're talking 10 times as much to be able to get disability access to an older building. So it's not insignificant.
But still more could be done.
Definitely.
But, would you say that the Labor and the LNP aren't really pushing onto this because it's such a small voter base that are not fully able-bodied people, and that's why it's not a big point in there?
Certainly they wouldn't be promoting it on that basis, and it sounds like Labor isn't 100% keen on this. Obviously, for the cost of housing in general, even an extra 1 or 2% might be the difference between some people being able to afford or not afford a property. But there's probably a bigger part to that, which will be pushback from the construction industry itself, not wanting to spend more money on properties, and developers who do not want to spend more money on property. It undermines their profit bases in those particular builds. So I can see where the pressure is coming from, but I don't know. Look, I'm fairly young and healthy, and I'm about middle-aged these days, but I can still walk around, I still have good access to things. And that's great for now, but, you know, I have a whole life to lead, and most people in their lifetime will come across a time when they won't have full access, where they might be more disabled than they are today. So, you know, this benefits all of us in the long term. I'm definitely interested in seeing more of that go ahead.
Yeah, definitely something we should be thinking more about as voters as well.
Especially considering the pressure that's been put on the NDIS and the amount of costs and associated things, the stuff that Bill Shorten was talking about before he resigned as Social Services Minister. If we want less costs, then we've got to be proactive. That's the line that they're going with there. And that's all that we have for 4ZZZ Breaks the Election podcast today. For more updates, you can find us on 4ZZZ in our morning bulletins, Brisbane Line on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays at midday, and make sure to catch the Pineapple Rebellion at 9am on Fridays. If you want to support the project, subscribe to 4ZZZ at 4ZZZ.org.au/support. Thanks for joining us today, and we will be back on Monday. Goodbye!
Bye!